Hola mis estudiantes, ¿cómo están ustedes? Buenos días, buenos días. ¿Cómo están? ¿Cómo están? Yo bien, gracias. Yo bien, gracias. ¿Y tú? ¿Y tú? Buenos días. Buenos días. ¿Cómo están? ¿Cómo están? Yo bien, gracias. Yo bien, gracias. ¿Y tú? ¿Y tú? Buenos días, mis estudiantes. Today, we're going to learn about post office. But I want to tell you a small story about the post office. Well, the beginning of the post office, when long ago, when we didn't have trucks, we didn't have buildings, and people were living connect with the nature, Mother Nature, right? They didn't have any building, they were hunting, right? So they used to communicate. They needed to communicate with each other, right? So the way they used to do that was first through the fire. The fire. They were making fire. When they were celebrating something, they will, lit a big fire, right? And they were communicating maybe to the next village or to the other people that live in that area that something was happening there. Okay? And they found that that was very helpful because through making big fires, they can communicate one thing. Through making only a small fire, they can, maybe communicate other thing, right? So at the very beginning, this was the way the man was communicating. And still, nowadays, there are some people that communicate this way, all right? Sometimes people get lost in the mountains and they, make fire so the rescue know where they are and they can find them, right? That's very important. Sometimes people communicate with fire when they are celebrating something also. They do fire, right? Our native people in here in this country, in many countries around the globe, they communicate still with the fire. And they are making, for example, parties, and they do those fire. But then men found that he could communicate with the stones. So he was maybe working on doing something, and he found that by making, that by hitting one stone with another, he can also communicate things, right? So maybe painful thing, maybe something special, and they were playing with the stones, and there are different sounds with different stones, right? Different type of stones. So he was communicating with the stones. After that, he started hunting, and the man found that with the skin they could make drums, and they were hitting the drums to, at the very beginning, to communicate also among themselves. So they realized that they can communicate also by playing drums. So they make different types of drums, right? And for example, still in places here, like here, our native people, or for example in Africa or in South America, in different countries, people play nowadays drums to communicate that the party is going to start, someone passed away, for example, and they will play in certain way that you understand that someone passed away. So they playing this way, and people in the next village is going to say, oh, someone passed away, right? Or um, they can play, for example, this way. What do you think will be there? Oh, people are listening. What do you think could be? You're right, it's going to be a party. So they playing and people know, wow, it's going to be party. It's a celebration. So we can go to that next village to celebrate. Alrighty? So, and sometimes people communicate um, with the instruments. For example, like ocarina, right? So we can communicate not only with the people, the human beings, sorry, but also we can communicate with animals, right? There are people that communicate with the animals by playing the ocarina or the flutes. Huh? So that's the part, very important part of the history of the post office, how we started communicating with each other, right? But we communicate also with one smile. We cannot send by mail, but now we have, for example, computers, and when we're smiling, we're also sending a message. When we're moving our hands certain way, for example, when we have assembly, we do like this, that means perfect, good. We don't need to send the mail, but we sending a message. Smile. Smile is a message. Also with our body, we can send also messages. So that's very important to know. But now you're writing your letters to your teachers, to your classmates, to our desk friends, or we writing to other students at school. So that's beautiful, and that's important because it's a way of communicating. Okay, so now I want to teach you a vocabulary in Spanish of how we say post office, how we say different things that we usually have in what is a post office. Okay, so here is the vocabulary. Esto en español, in Spanish, this is the correo, el correo, correo. Can you repeat? Correo, correo. Okay, so it's the post office, correo, correo. Ella es una cartera, cartera. Cartera is the lady that brings the mail, right? So cartera, and he is the cartero, and with the O because it's a male. El cartero, and she is la cartera, la cartera, el cartero, okay? El cartero. Este es el buzón, el buzón, el buzón. Okay, see? This is el sobre, the envelope, el sobre, el sobre. Bien. Esta es la carta. La carta. La carta is when you already wrote it, right? The mail. La carta. I made this big, but it's the stamp. Stamp, right? Stamp. La estampilla. Estampilla. Repeat after me. Estampilla. Este es el carro de correo. ¿Ok? The post office truck. El camión de correo. Muy bien. Esto es las cajas. Las cajas. Do you remember that we learned grande, pequeño? Caja grande, caja pequeña. Okay? Big box and small box. And tall box. Alto, alta. Okay? Caja grande, caja pequeña. Las cajas. Then we need, when we are in the post office, we need sometimes to ask, we forgot el lápiz, and we have to ask, el lápiz, por favor, lápiz, lápiz, to write something that you want, right? And sometimes you go to the post office if you're traveling with your parents to any Spanish-speaking country and you see cerrado, that means closed. Cerrado, cerrado, that means closed. Cerrado, cerrado, closed. And this is abierto, abierto, which means open, abierto, open, okay? That's our vocabulary. So I will be writing for you. Is another way, yeah? Cerrado, cerrado, right? And abierto, abierto. The post office is abierta. Then I handed to your teachers this handout, and I would like you to do an activity. The activity I want you to do is to cut this vocabulary, and then you're going to repeat with me. If you want to ask the teacher, and they repeat the vocabulary, and you will read along with me. So also, I will post the record in Seesaw, and you can see this vocabulary. All right? Okay, my student, but write to me how you liked this story about the post office, the beginning of the post office. I hope you liked. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I'm looking forward when I will be at school to write also, or to bring the letters I wrote. And also, maybe I have some letters there. I will see. Okay, my students, have a wonderful week. Love you all. Adios. Adios. Then I have also this to communicate. Maybe I will bring to school to show it to you one day. Bye.